Hey everybody, here we are with another World of Warships replay. This time we're in the Gremyashi, the Soviet Tier 5 destroyer. Now this is part of the pre-order package, and this little boat is pretty nice. Taking a quick look from the exterior, we've got 4 turrets. Each has a single 130mm naval gun in it. We've got a pair of 76mm anti-aircraft guns, which are quite handy, and we've got 2 sets of triple torpedo tubes. Now the range on these torpedoes, and you can see me, somebody spawned on top of me pretty much, which is why my ship did that, but the torpedo range is 8 kilometers on this, which is quite good for a tier 5 destroyer, but more to the point, this thing is very, very fast. Its top speed is just over 39 knots, which makes it about as fast as the Minakaze, the Japanese tier 5 destroyer, and also one of the fastest destroyers currently in the game. The fastest destroyer in the game right now is Shimakaze, the Japanese tier 10 at 40 knots. Looking at the lineup, we have an extra battleship over the enemy team, but they have an extra destroyer. The matchmaking is not too bad, both teams have 2 carriers, and really this one could play out either way. So I've got my AA turned off to avoid revealing myself when aircraft pass overhead, but I decide to take a shot at that cruiser there, just to see if I could get some quick damage in. I know I'm going to be spotted pretty quickly anyway, heading into the center of the map, and I actually land a blind shot there. And then another. Now that's a Nicholas class destroyer, the US tier 5. It's a pretty good boat. Like the Clemson, it does have torp tubes on both sides of the ship, so it can do the little go down between 2 ships and blow them both up thing, but in this case he's in a pretty bad position. He does hit me with a torpedo, but it doesn't kill me, and my own torps clean him up. Oh, sorry, somebody else's torps actually cleaned him up. Mine were pretty close. So, I'm in a pretty bad situation here. These guys could easily finish me off if they aim their shots. Thankfully for me, I'm able to dive behind the island here, which gives me some time to consider my situation and time to get my torpedoes reloaded. Now, if I can, I'd really like to put some torps into this Myogi. Taking out a battleship is certainly going to do a lot to help my team, and it's going to get me a lot of experience and credits. Somebody else already dumped torps at him, one of our carrier drivers, but it hasn't killed him. So I come in with my torps ready, and he's still reversing, so I fire off both spreads as I round the island. Now, being a battleship, it's going to take him forever to get back into forwards motion, and so he's got no chance of dodging those. Sure enough, take him out, and now I've got to fight this St. Louis. Now, the St. Louis has 14 guns. 14 main guns, I should say. They are a horrifying thing to fight a destroyer. Thankfully, this guy can't aim. And so, as I have to wait for my torpedoes to reload, this guy's just firing over me, under me, behind me, and I'm happily circling around him with my guns. I have no idea how I survived this. You can see as I'm coming around the front of the St. Louis, I'm starting to do a lot more damage with my AP shells. It's because I'm hitting him, obviously, down the center line of his ship, and there's more metal for the shells to go through. The way that warship AP shells work is kind of like the APHE shells used in tanks, but on a larger scale. The shell requires a certain amount of material to hit to fuse, and that guy finally gets me, but I got my torps off. And so, if the shell hits just, the side of a destroyer and goes clean through, it might not detonate until it gets past the ship, or it might not even detonate at all. Whereas if it has a lot of stuff in front of it, it's going to explode inside the ship. And so that's why sometimes the AP does almost nothing, and sometimes it'll one-shot people. It's just a case of knowing where to shoot at with it. Anyway, burned out pretty quickly there, but I managed to take 2 enemy ships with me. And now we can see what the rest of our team is up to.